Guys, it's Miss Delcambre. Today is October the 13th, and here's a rundown of our lesson. So you will need your journal, pencil, highlighter, scissors, and glue, and your notes on 10.2. The notes are still outside underneath the portico, so if you need a copy of them, please make sure you pick them up. We're going to do a wake and review. I'm going to show you some changes that we had. We're going to look at Builder 7 and then start into our prime factorization notes. Okay, so if you go to your new Google Classroom, everybody has been changed. Okay, so it looks a little different now. My color's not purple anymore unless you're in my homeroom class. So it's kind of like a gray color. I'm going to change it. It's just that I wasn't at my regular computer when I did this. So this is my last block. Everybody's is the same setup. So if we go to classwork, I have my topics. You see how I changed over here on my topics? So I have my Zoom links. Okay, so student support time. Student support time for me virtually is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. Okay, Mondays and Fridays, excuse me, are going to be student support time for my in-person class. And I can't do an in-person support time with my virtual class. It just is going to be too much going on and going back and forth. So we've limited it that I will have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday virtual student support. Miss Evans will have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday virtual support, and Miss Bucky will have Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday virtual support. Okay, so those are the Zoom links. I went ahead and did our notes. So for the second 9 weeks notes, if you need the notes, it's all printed up here. Okay, if you go to my Google Slides, I want to first go to the interactive. I added the interactive math journal. So because my other math journal is the new 9 weeks, I have a new tab. So it's green. When you look on it, I've already have exponents and prime factorization loaded. So if you click here on the second page, there I have my table of contents, and you can see what I have loaded up already with our notes in class. Okay, so we're going to close that because that's taking a while to go. Then we have my Bitmoji classroom. If you go to my Bitmoji classroom, I've changed it up just a little teeny tiny bit. I've added what we're doing for the week on my home screen. So give it a second to load so I can present it. So as you see, it's still loading. Still loading. Still loading. Here we go. All right, so here are my little table. Do you see I moved my other math journal way over here? So my math journal is over here. That's from the first 9 weeks. This is for the second 9 weeks, so you just click on that to find it. This week, we had our staff development day on Monday. Tuesday, we were doing prime factorization. Wednesday and Thursday, order of operations. And Friday, we're doing facing math, and that's on order of operations. So if you go to the red folder on the screen, you click there, that's on the bookshelf. I've added some stuff to the information folder. Okay, it doesn't look like it's changed, but I did add the second 9 weeks calendar. So give me a moment so I can present it so it looks a little bigger. It's loading. Still loading. There we go. Okay, so as you see, my math information folder, here's my second 9 weeks calendar in review. So next Tuesday, we have a test. We have our test on Module 10. However, on Thursday, I'm going to give out your review that day, so you have plenty of time to work on it. On the Monday, we'll probably do a Kahoot or a Gim Kit. I know we'll do a Kahoot on that day. I think I have one that we will have. So if you are live in my classroom in person, you will need to bring a device. If you are my virtual students, you don't need to. Then we go into ratios, rates, tables, graphs, converting measurements, independent and dependent variable. I need to change this because I've talked to Miss LaRue. And on this day right here, before we release for Thanksgiving break, we will be doing a breakout. So we will be doing breakout classrooms on this Friday. And my in-class will go to the library. My virtual kids, I will be giving you a code to do a virtual breakout. When we come back, we're going to talk about choosing a bank and talking about credit score and paying for college. Then we have our 9 weeks assessment, and then our test. And then after that, we have stuff before the week before Christmas and the end of the 9 weeks. So that gives you a rundown of our new second 9 weeks that we're going to be having. And that's the only thing that I believe I changed to this Google slide. Okay, so this week, Tuesday, we have our prime factorization worksheet and our Builder 7. Wednesday, we're going to start on order of operations and Builder 7. Thursday, I'm handing out the review. It will be dropped in our Google Classroom, so it will be available to you Thursday morning for you to access and start working on. Again, Builder 7, and then Friday, we're going to do a facing math activity on order of operations and make sure that your builder is due. All right, so let's go and look at the new things that I've done in the Google Classroom still. So there's your Google Slides. So now, instead of doing builders and homework and movie or videos I showed in class and Delcambre videos, I'm uploading basically what we did this week, okay? So for this week, for today, this week, you'll need Builder 7, then the prime factorization worksheet, and then the prime factors colorful. I'll show you what this is here in a minute when we're doing our notes, okay? So speaking of notes, let's get out our journal. Let me turn on my document camera. Let me zoom out. Okay, so the last notes that we took were on perfect squares and exponents. So today we are going into 10.2 prime factorization. 10.2 prime factorization. Okay, so in our notes, we're going to kind of glue a little different today. So we'll need this sheet blank because we're going to be writing on it. We're going to put the dated one and glue that one in first. Okay. So today's 10/13/2020. Okay. And then this is the other set of notes that you have. So how you're going to do this is you're going to fold this in half, but you're going to see prime factorization. All right. And fold it like this. And then if you fold it, unfold it right here at the crease, there's a line that intersects it. So we're going to cut that to the crease. Cut this line until we get to the crease. And we're going to stop. And we're going to make it look like it has two little pant legs. And then you're going to glue the back and glue it onto the other set of notes. It's kind of like a foldable or flippable, however you want to call it. So once we glue this in, we are done with our glue. We are done with our scissors. So today we're going to talk about finding factors of a number. So whole numbers that are multiplied to find a product are called factors of that product. A number is divisible by its factors. For example, 4 and 2 are factors of 8 because 4 times 2 equals 8. And 8 is divisible by 4 and 2. So basically, factors are the numbers that when I multiply make up that number. It's like 24. Well, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Those are the factors that make up 24. And if I count these off, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 factors And if you think of it, you actually have 4 factor pairs. Okay, and pairs mean that there's 2, so there's 2 numbers that make them up. So there's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like shoes, you get a pair of shoes and you get 2 of them. So you can also use this diagram to show the factor pairs, okay? And think of this kind of like as a rainbow. They did it underneath, I always do it on the top. 1 times 24 is 24. 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 6 is 24. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 factors that make up 24. Okay, now we're going to talk about prime factors. So flip your page over, and we're going to talk about prime factors. And prime factors are numbers that can only be divisible by 1 in itself. So are numbers only divisible by 1 and itself. Okay, and we're going to look at prime numbers here in a bit. We're going to look at prime numbers here in a bit, which numbers they are. Okay, and then we have something called composite numbers. So composite numbers, C-O-M-P-O-S-I-T-E numbers. And these are the opposites of prime numbers. These are its antonym. Think a synonym and antonym. Antonym's the opposite. So composite numbers are numbers that can be divided by numbers other than 1 in itself. All right, if you're trying to think like, well, what do you mean composite? Well, some examples is like 6. 6 is 6 times 1, and also 3 times 2. That's a 3. Okay. 14 is 14 times 1, 7 times 2. 36. 36 is 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, and 6 times 6. Okay, composite numbers more than just 1 in itself. So they have multiple factors. Okay, now when I talk about prime numbers, this is where that little sheet that said colorful prime numbers are. So you're going to go back to your Google Classroom, and if you click on prime factors colorful, I have a chart. It is not homework, it's just material. So I want you to look at and write down your prime numbers. So every number that is in blue is your prime number, meaning that it's only divisible by 1 in itself. Only divisible by 1 in itself. And if you look, nothing in the tens columns is lit up. Nothing in the eights column is lit up, because even numbers have 2 as a factor. So automatically, all even numbers can never be prime except 2. If it ended in a 5, do you see? Anything that ends in a 5, the divisibility rule says it's divisible by 5. Okay? So make sure you write down all your prime numbers, because that's going to help you with your homework tonight. All right, back to our notes. So prime factorizations, if you've ever heard of a factor tree, That's what we're going to be doing today and talking about. So you have your two little flaps here. Okay, so on your left flap, I want you to write factor tree. Okay, and on your right flap, this one, they call it the ladder method, but I like to call it the upside down cake. Upside down wedding cake. I need to think of this as method. If you want to add this to it, this is a method. Okay, now let's look at the factor tree. Maybe you remember the factor tree. So when we're doing a factor tree, we have the number and you're trying to choose two factors that make the number. So think of it as 24. So what times what gives me 24? Well, 2 times 12 gives me 24. Well, 2 is prime, so you circle all your prime numbers. Okay? Okay. So do you see how it went to a tree here and then 12? Then 12 is not prime. If we looked on our prime list, 12 is composite. So 2 times 6 gives me 12. 2 is prime, so I circle 2. And then 6, I got to break 6 down into what? 2 times 3, and those are prime numbers. So all the circled numbers will be prime. Then I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Then if I write that using exponents, I have 2 to the third times 3. Okay. Now, this is our turn. We're going to do 120. So again, just like it started, we put 120 up at the top. Okay. What times what gives me 120? There's lots of different ways you can do this. I'm going to do 10 times 12 and show you that it will still get me the same answer. So 10 and 12 are both not prime. They're composite, but I'm going to check. Okay, so 10 I can break down into 5 times 2. Well, both of those numbers are prime, so I can stop right there on this side. And 12 can be broken down into 3 times 4. Well, 3 is prime, so I'm going to circle 3, and 4 can be broken down into 2 times 2. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, and if you were in class, it went 2 to 60, I'm still going to get the same numbers at the end. So when I look at all my prime, I like to sort them going from the smallest number to the largest number, going in order there. So I have 1, 2, 3 2s, so that's 2 times 2 times 2. Then I have a 3 times 3, and then I have this 5 times 5. These are all prime numbers, okay? But I want to use exponents. So I have 2 here, that's my base, and I have 1, 2, 3 2s, so I have 2 to the third power, or 2 cubed, times 3 times 5. And I don't have to put a 1 above here or anything because it's already implied. So my answer here would be 2 cubed times 3 times 5 gives me 120. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what's this upside down wedding cake method, Miss Delcambre? They call it the ladder method. And it's basically, it looks kind of like division, but upside down. If you look, it looks like it's the division symbol, like the little division huts. But the reason why I call it the upside down wedding cake or the upside down birthday cake is if I turn it around, it kind of looks like a cake. It looks like the layers of a cake. Here's the bottom layer, the middle, and then the top. Do you see it kind of looks like a cake? And think of cake, different flavors, makes everything better. All right, so I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do 120. So I'm going to start off with 120. And this is my first layer. So I think of like the smallest prime number. Well, it's even, so it's going to be a 2. So 2 can go into 120 60 times. All right, 60 is even, so I can take out another 2. So bam, another layer. Okay, 2 can go into 60 30 times. Boom, another layer. Okay, 30 is even too, so 2 can go into 30 15 times. Okay, 15, oh, it's not prime, so boom, gets another layer. Well, what times what gives me 15? Well, 3 times 5 gives me 15, and I'm done because my last number is a prime number. So if I look, I'm just looking on the outside right here. So I'm looking at 2, 2, 2, 3, and 5. So that would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5, which is 2 cubed times 3 times 5. Do you notice that you got both the same answers? They're both the same, no matter which way you do it. Some people like going this way, doing the tree method. Some people like doing this way. As long as you understand which way you're going to do and stay with it and master one of these two, that's all we're asking for. So please make sure that you master one of these methods and you understand why we're breaking it down. We're getting it down to the prime factors that make it up. Okay, now your homework tonight is your prime factor worksheet. So I'm going to pull that up real quick. And it's right here, prime factor worksheet, and I think I even put a date on it. All right, so you can open it with Cami. I'm going to not open it with Cami, because every time I open it with Cami, I always forget to erase it. So I'm going to pull out the worksheet, have it under here on my document camera. So I'm going to do the first two, and I'm going to do them 2 ways. I'm going to do them both ways so you can see. I'm going to do 36 first. So 36, and I'm going to do the tree method. So 36 is 3 times 12. Well, 3 is prime, so I'm going to circle that. So I don't need to do anything. 12, I can break that down to 3 times 4. Well, 3 is prime. I'm going to circle 3. 4 is not. Break 4 down into 2 times 2. 2 and 2 are both prime. So here I have 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So when I write it out, I would have 2 squared times 3 squared. And that's how I would do the tree method. Now let me do my cake method that I like. Again, whichever one works with you. So I have 36. I'm going to put a layer down. Okay, well, I could take out a 2 from here. 2 can go into 36 18 times. Okay, I need another layer. 18's even, so I know I can take out a 2. 2 can go into 18 9 times. I could take out another layer. And I have 3. 3 can go into 9 3 times. And all I have are prime numbers. So I have 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, which gives me the exact same as 2 squared times 3 squared. Right? Let's look at 100. I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can do this, and you're still going to get the same answer, just like I did this way. I start off with 3 and 12. Here I start off with 2 and 18. Number 2. So I'm going to start off with 100. And I'm going to say that is 10 times 10, which it is, because 10 times 10 gives me 100. 10s are not prime. So I got to break those up into 5 times 2 and 5 times 2. 5s are both prime, and 2s are both prime. So when I write this out, I have 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. That's 2 squared times 5 squared. Okay, last one, because I did the factor tree method. Here's my cake method, 100. Give it a layer. I need a prime number. Here, I don't have to do prime. Here, I have to do prime. So I know 2 can go into 100 50 times. Give it another layer. Well, I can half 50, divide that by 2, and I get 25. And 5 times 5 gives me 25. So here I have 2 times 2 times 5 times 5, which is 2 squared times 5 squared. So either way, I'm still getting the exact same factors that make up the exact same prime factors that make up those numbers. All right. So you have 3 through 6 for your homework tonight. Shouldn't take you long. And that is under the Google Class, the homework right there. You can do it with Cami. You can print it out. You can work it and then upload it. Have 7 people that already done it and turn it in my last block. So good job. I will see you tomorrow where we will be going over order of operations. All right, guys. Have a great day. Bye.